video isn't stealing from anyone, and the original idea belongs to that graphic. The main idea for this video is from the channel That Graphic, and I got inspired by their video to bring you the real and original story of Sonic.EXE. 90% of this video isn't animation. It's more like analog horror. So watch this video as an analog horror, not a full-on animation. The animation is at the end of the video. The language of this video and my other videos is in English and Persian. I don't use any other language. So learn English. In the last minutes of this video, there's an epic fight between Dark Sonic and 2011X. If you click it for that, skip to this minute. But if you came for the original Sonic.EXE story and the fight between Dark Sonic and 2011X, then watch the video till the end.
Everything was filled with nothing. An endless space, but empty and void. Nothing existed. Until a catastrophe happened, a big bang of ancient and primal energies. And thus, the origin of everything that exists now began with the creation of the first reality. This reality started branching out into multiple realities to expand itself, reaching a degree of expansion where almost nothing empty and void existed anymore. But then, something unexpected and strange happened. The remnants of the ancient and primal energies that created the universe were still present in this reality. These energies formed a mass of dark matter and dark energy. A conscious dark matter. This dark matter named itself X. After it was born, it began wandering through the void, without any specific path or purpose. This wandering continued for countless years. Years passed since its birth, and even though the universe was expanding, X noticed a crack in that reality, a crack it had never seen in its lifetime. Other cracks from different worlds and timelines began to appear, growing large enough to show what was behind them like windows. X was confused and bewildered. It realized that beings had emerged with powers so great they could break reality. But among the infinite realities it was seeing, it became particularly fascinated by one: the reality of humans. It learned that in their world, an extraordinary fast blue hedgehog lived, and it became more interested in that than in humans themselves. This was when X started to rethink about how this universe was created for no reason. A strong feeling surged within it, as if it had found a purpose in its life. With the intense interest it had developed for Sonic and his world, it learned to focus its powers on creating a body resembling Sonic the Hedgehog, so that everyone who saw it would remember that stylish and famous hero. But when the body was completed, it experienced an excruciating pain in its eyes. Blood began to pour from its eyes, and slowly, the eyes of that body became void of any substance. A pair of glowing red pupils emerged within those black eyes. X seemed to have anticipated this would happen and wasn't scared at all. Instead, it laughed out loud. This was the first laugh in the void. A result of this occurrence, which meant the first creature of the entire reality had been born purely and strikingly as a devil and evil. X realized what it had done and what it was going to do and thought about what it truly desired. It had a very grand goal. An impossible and terrifying goal. It intended to create its own universe by experimenting with its powers and rule over it, especially over humans. So he did. He created his own universe. Amazed by all the power and abilities it possessed, it tried to create a world based on Sonic's universe. Its planets, stars, constellations, solar systems, and galaxies. It created everything. But something still bothered it. It had built its entire universe in the void, and that was what troubled it. It believed that the void felt like an endless prison for it. So it tried to use its powers to open a door to the world of mortal beings. It entered that world, although it was much smaller than it desired. Nevertheless, it began from there. It killed its first victim. It started admiring its work with all the colors splattered from the blood and body parts of that victim, saying to itself,
How beautiful.
But after a few seconds, it could see the soul of its victim emerging from the lifeless, shredded body. X, who was genuinely pleased by seeing that soul coming out, said,
How cute.
It grabbed the soul of its victim. Even though the victim didn't have strong energy or spirit, X felt something happening inside itself. The weak soul of that victim made X feel like it was adding to its unlimited powers and getting closer to its goal. And now, X had truly found its purpose in its endless life. Create your own reality and rule over it. As time passed and X killed more victims to strengthen itself, it came to an undeniable truth. It realized it was truly unique. There was no other version of it in any universe. Because of this, it could easily connect with humans, finding itself within a kind of simulation. With the powers it possessed, X tried to escape this world and reach the human realm. It sent part of its dark matter and power into the human world to find a way to gain access. Using its abilities, X managed to find a skilled programmer in the US to help it break into the human world. X seized this opportunity and said,
How interesting.
It began to take over the mind and soul of the programmer, commanding him to create a computer gateway through which it could communicate with humans. This programmer developed a video game where X was the supreme ruler. X decided to send this game in the form of PvP via a meteorite to Earth to achieve its goal. Miraculously, the PvP remained intact after crashing into the surface of the Earth and landed in a crater shaped like an X in the ground.
We are now witnessing an unforeseen supernatural event that threatens us. A meteorite is penetrating the Earth's atmosphere, and it seems that the meteorite is alert and is approaching the surface of the city. People who have come to watch this meteorite should seek a safe place as soon as possible to avoid the destruction.
During this process, a cult formed called the Cult of X. They worshipped X, believing that with the meteorite's impact, X had truly been born as the real god. They named this phenomenon the falling star. In 2011, as this disc passed from one person to another, X managed to capture the souls of almost many individuals. The way it captured souls was as follows: when people inserted the disc into their computers, their systems automatically fell under X's control. They were forced to play through to the end of the game. In reality, that game served as a portal to the human realm, allowing X to show what existed in its own reality through the experiences of humans. It waited patiently for the moment to steal the soul of its victim. However, X had to act quickly and within a specific time frame, because it didn't exist in the human world. It couldn't remain there for long. If it did, it would automatically return to its own world, and if it resisted, its mortal body would be destroyed. But its dark matter would never perish. To return to the human world, it needed to wait 1 hour. When X stole a victim's soul for the first time, it rushed through the process, causing severe damage to the victim's mouth, throat, and chest, while still keeping them alive. Losing one's soul creates a state of confusion and disorientation. Over time, X learned various methods for stealing souls, and when the moment came, it would capture the player's soul, while their body remained in a state of trance and disorientation. As these white killings continued, the police got involved to investigate the situation. They began categorizing these murders under the case name Sonic.EXE. Based on evidence found on each victim's computer, the downloaded game titled Sonic.EXE was present. X was pleased that the police had chosen the name Sonic.EXE, so it decided to adopt that name for itself.
Sonic.exe. What a good name that those mortals chose for me. I like it.
After capturing 29 victims, the disc found its way into the hands of a boy named Kyle in 2012. X was able to easily take Kyle's soul despite his attempts to stop it. In a final effort to end X's game, Kyle sent the disc to his friend Tom, believing that destroying the disc would mean destroying X itself, which turned out to be a mistake. Kyle left a note warning Tom not to play, but Tom ignored Kyle's warning and played the game, falling into X's trap. X applied its usual methods on Tom but developed a particular interest in him. Tom's constant curiosity and strong desire to help others amused X greatly. It tormented Tom using these two traits until Tom resorted to suicide in an attempt to escape X. However, X still captured Tom's soul and turned him into another one of its slaves.
Ready for round 2.
Throughout all the murder investigations, every kill was looked into by Detective Burke Green and his sister, Chelsea. After Chelsea got snatched by X, Burke got sidelined from the case for some unknown reasons, but that didn't stop him from hunting down his sister's kidnapper. While secretly digging into each murder X committed, Burke slowly became more and more paranoid, convinced that everyone was in on some cult. Through a mysterious contact named Cole, Burke found out that a cult was behind this whole scheme and that Chelsea was trapped in X's world. Eventually, Burke got caught by the cult and faced off with one of its leaders, Shannon Goldman. Burke thought that, if he could just destroy the disc, which he did, he could finally stop X from tormenting humanity, but Shannon showed him how futile his efforts were and revealed that the cult had made multiple copies of the game disc, so that, if one went down, they'd have backups ready to go. Shannon then summoned X, who immediately stole Burke's soul. 3 weeks after X snatched Burke's soul, Burke's boss, Bob Richardson, got a message from Cole that filled him in on what had gone down. To this day, the X cult keeps passing around the game disc from person to person, and X continues to gather more and more slaves. X has a ton of powers and abilities, ranging from reality control to that scary black hole in his mouth. Reality control, this is X's most famous power. He can manipulate reality however he wants. He can create matter, destroy it, rebuild it, change things around, create worlds, change his own form, and do pretty much anything. One of the standout examples of these powers is creating his own world, controlling the game disc, messing with illusions, and turning souls into slaves. Teleportation, X can move from one place to another instantly. This was shown in the first scary Sonic.EXE story. He can even teleport to the human world, but he can only stay there for a few minutes, before he has to go back to his own realm. Soul theft, to keep his slaves forever, X needs a human soul. Whenever he comes to our world, he has a limited time to steal someone's soul. Once he snatches a soul, it turns into a faint blue light ball. X can easily transform that soul into the body of a slave, making it look like the character from the game that the soul's owner loved the most. He can even eat the soul, though it doesn't digest, since souls are immortal, and X can munch on a soul as much as he wants. But even just biting a soul can mess with the mind of the slave that soul belongs to and dehumanize them. Dream control, X can enter his victim's dreams and twist them to his liking. Shadow shifting, X can change his appearance and, besides his reality powers, he usually prefers to look like Sonic. Over time, X's original look has been updated and changed significantly to resemble himself more. Black hole, this might be X's most dangerous and terrifying power that he rarely uses. If he gets bored with a slave, which is super rare, he opens his mouth and a black hole appears inside. When X kills a soul with the black hole, that soul turns into a tiny singularity and then disappears, meaning it has lost forever. X hates having to use the black hole, because he doesn't want to kill anyone. Dark matter, X is entirely made of dark matter. He feeds off this stuff and can use it for his powers. Like a soul, X's dark matter is also immortal, so you can't kill him with regular methods. He can also detach pieces of his dark matter to use however he needs, like sending a piece to a programmer to complete the disk and create 7 guardians. Breaking off dark matter bit by bit doesn't really affect X's psyche. Hacking, X is a skilled programmer and hacker, because he can completely take control of a computer when his game disk is inside and manipulate how things happen in the game, so that players understand what's going on in his world. Levitation, X can fly, like when he was chasing Tails in the Scary Story. JC explained that his levitation ability comes from his boots that create anti-gravity. And last, mind control, this is one of X's lesser-known powers. He can influence those who harbor evil in their hearts, which is how he connected with the programmer who created the main disk. Since the birth of X, there are 2 timelines or 1 new timeline that has been created automatically. In this timeline, X is born but has some slight differences from the original timeline on Sonic.EXE. Here, X is known as 2011 Sonic. He is taller, wilder, and has new, unique stages and dialogue. But overall, there aren't any significant differences from Op-X. You could say they were pretty much the same. The only difference is who owns them. There is a version and future of this timeline, where X appears older and more worn out, and he is also shorter. However, he is stronger than his earlier versions. In this timeline, X keeps reminding the player of memories from 2011, essentially saying, I am the same Op-X. This older version of Op-X is called Lord X. He has his own 7 guardians, his own world, and full access to other worlds and the multiverse. Lord X has more differences from the original X than similarities. He admits how he came to be and what his goals are. In reality, 2011 Sonic and Lord X are essentially one and the same. They share the same owner, and story-wise, Lord X is from a future timeline of the older 2011 Sonic. Overall, JC Sonic.EXE, 2011 Sonic, and Lord X are all one person across separate timelines. There is a separate and almost new timeline for X. In this timeline, we have a regular X but with more rage and cruelty. This version is called Xenophanse, introduced in a mod for Friday Night Funkin'. He has 3 forms that transform him into a tall being filled with crystals due to his immense anger and lack of patience. All 3 versions are actually separate versions in their own timelines from original Sonic.EXE and are all canon and official. In the C Production YouTube timeline, Lord X first encounters Xenophanse, a true god who is almost equal in power to Lord X. They engage in an epic eternal battle that impacts the entire timeline. He even managed to bring a character named C, a human, along with his friends into his world, which went against the laws of the human realm. He wanted to steal their souls for himself but was defeated by Xenophanse. After being defeated by Xenophanse, Lord X filled with rage, explodes a location that reveals an ancient inscription. Through this inscription, he travels to a world beyond his own and that of humans. During this journey, he meets a king named Lord Emmer and suffers a devastating defeat that results in him losing his memory. After this defeat by Lord Emmer, he returns to his own world to find Xenophanse and gets his revenge. He confronts his original self, the origins of TommixArt's, intending to eliminate him and become the original X. This event occurs in the video Battle of Origins, which was inspired by the graphics channel. He traveled through different Sonic timelines to kill the original X but failed. Using Chaos Emeralds, he transformed into Perfect X and managed to defeat the original X. However, along with the original X and OMT, they were transported back to Lord Emmer's world. There, he faced Xenophanse again after 2 years. Looking at Lord Emmer helped him regain all his memories. He had to team up with his main enemy, Xenophanse, to defeat Lord Emmer, but it didn't work out. He had to merge with the original X to create Legend.EXE. But even that couldn't withstand Lord Emmer's power and was destroyed. In the end, Lord Emmer split them apart. Both the original X and Lord X were obliterated. But when Xenophanse managed to defeat Lord Emmer, time reversed, and both Lord X and the original X came back to life. They all returned to their worlds, and now the original X is working with his future version, Lord X, to take revenge on Xenophanse.
No! I should have gotten here sooner! This is terrible. Why did I have to end up like this? Why do these poor innocent animals have to die like this? This is a massive slaughter. Eggman must be a bad guy, but he never reached this level of violence and madness. I need to move faster before more people die! Tails! No! Why?
Oh, look what we have here. Sonic the Hedgehog. I really want to see you up close. You! Gives me a parent to carry out this success! I never wanted things to turn out like this, but you're a monster, and for what you've done, I'll never forgive you. Forgiveness? That's cool, but I'm not interested in it at all. I want you to show me what you can bring it to. Show me where our limits go. What did I do? Tails! No! I decided to bring your friend back to life. But what did you do? You ignored him and killed him. Given what you did, it turns out we're not so different after all, right? Well, now let's get back to what we were doing. I told you my idea. Did you forget? I said show me where our limits go. This could be really fun for both of us. From my realm, now that I'm in my space, let me see how my power works here. This is way easier than that void prison I was in before. Show me your limits, Sonic. This madness is right here now! You failed again and come back home. My young one. Get up. Cause I've got a new and better mission for you. Whoa. What power was that? It was truly amazing. The interesting thing is that if I completely fall apart outside the bounds of my world, I still automatically return to the void. That power, that transformation, I want it. I'll get it. Not now, but one day.